This little device is the DreamHacks RG300 portable gaming console that contains over 10,000 retro games, and it is fantastic. Let's go ahead and power it on. I want you to see just how cool this little device is. Now, I've been eyeballing these things for a long time. I love the idea of kind of the old school Game Boy form factor with all of the games loaded on it, but I just never pulled the trigger on one of these until it came across my screen on Amazon and I decided to jump. So if you're interested in seeing the pricing and options, definitely check out the link in the description below. So what I've got up here is a menu with different games and stuff in it. It's right where I left off the last time I was using it. So there's a home menu here, and I could toggle over to a lot of different old retro gaming platforms. Some that are probably platforms you've never even heard of before, like DOSBox and stuff like that. But what I was most interested in is the regular Nintendo games. We also have Pocket, SNES for Super Nintendo, and lots of other options here as well. If I go into the next tab, you can see we've got Game Gear, Neo Geo, a lot of options. We also have Game Boy Color. So even the retro Game Boy games that we're used to, let's just go ahead and go into Game Boy. And you can see here I've got all of the games that are available, and I could just toggle through all of these. There are a ton of games, as you can see here. Now, the frustrating thing is that it can become a little bit cumbersome to navigate, but one of the good things is you can create your own favorites folder of games, so that way you don't have to go through this process so often. Now, let's jump over to Nintendo, and you can see here there's so many Nintendo games that it has them sorted by alphabetical. And so I could jump down into S and or PRS and then go from the bottom up if I wanted to get to Super really easily. So lots of games that start with the name Super, and so if I wanted to go and play some old school like Super Mario, there's all the different Super Marios, like Super Mario Kart, which is absolutely fantastic, Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3, and lots of different options over here as well, because there's lots of different ports of this game, and a port is kind of the conversion of it from its original cartridge format to this format that is more digital here. So lots of different ports that are available, so you might want to find the one that works best for you. You can see here that some of them are not even in the English language, so that contributes to the 10,000 games, is that some of them are multilingual. So let's go into Super Mario 3, and here we go. We've got it loading up. And there we go. I mean, this is just absolutely the coolest. There we go. I'm a little rusty, especially with these controls. You have to kind of get used to the controls and how they're going to operate. There we go. So there's buttons on the back of the device as well, and you definitely need to avoid hitting some of them. So that's part of the learning process with a device like this, is it has a few extra buttons for the different systems that you might find yourself using. One of the cool things about this is you can actually save your state. So on a lot of these older retro games, there was no ability to save. And so, you know, back in the day, we'd just leave our Nintendo on all day long. So that way, when we got home from school or we had the next opportunity to play, our game would be right where it was when we left off. On this, we can actually save our state to a slot, and then when we exit the game, and go back to the menu and then reopen the game, we are right where we left off. And that's an absolutely fantastic feature that I think is great, especially considering we have so many different options. So how does this little thing operate? Well, it has a built-in battery pack, and that battery pack is charged via USB-C down on the bottom of the device. That is great. USB-C charging, fantastic. That's modern. We also have a headphone jack, so you can plug in some wired headphones and play without broadcasting your sound all over the room. So headphone jack, absolutely fantastic. Over on the side here, we have a slider that will allow us to adjust our audio levels. And so when the screen's turned on and we're playing a game, we can adjust our audio levels here on the side. And then over on this side, we have an SD card, a micro SD card. And this is the micro SD card that contains all of the content that's on this device. It has a built-in 16 gigs of memory, and it comes with a 32 gigabyte memory card. The reason that the memory card is great is because if you wanted to add additional games that were not in this system, you can take that SD card out, put it in your computer, and copy games over to the appropriate folders. You've got your power switch here. You have two buttons on the back of the control and then all of the buttons on the front of the control. And the top buttons toggle you through to the different menu options. And you can see here is my favorites folder where I have a few different games that are loaded in there already. And so if I toggle down into those, I can go into Street Fighter, which is a common one for me playing on this little gaming platform here because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Hopefully it's one of yours as well. And it's great to have that game available on a small screen that you can throw in your pocket. And it is the original Street Fighter 2 Turbo. None of the crazy reboots or the frills and stuff like that. It's just very simple and fun to play. I'm just not as good as I used to be. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, definitely one of the best games out there. So what's absolutely fantastic about this device is that it packs all of these games into one little device, and they're available. This has about 6 hours of battery life of continuous play, which is probably more than enough, and like I said, easily chargeable via the USB cable on the bottom that it comes with. So absolutely fantastic device, definitely worth the price. It has been going in and out of stock, so I've got links to a couple of different options down in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. If you enjoy retro games, this is a must-have, or if you know somebody who enjoys retro games, this is a must-have gift for them. So check out those links in the description below, and let me know what your favorite retro game is down in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel here so you can be notified when I put out new videos. I hope to see you back in another one soon. Take care.